people, you'll recruit them, right? The wrong people, you're not going to recruit them, but they'll give you a couple names and numbers. And the last thing I'll end with before I introduce our speaker, the coolest thing about our business is that you have a client list after you get going, you get licensed, you have some people. And so I've been calling through all my investment clients for the first time. We just kind of hit just over the 1 year mark of our investment clients. And what we did was I started calling through people on Wednesday. I've gotten over 20 referrals just by calling through investment clients and touching base with them, guys. And so as you build the business, you start to get people that are excited and happy with what you're doing, and they want to then refer you to more people that are excited and happy with what you're doing, so that way they can become excited and happy with what you're doing for them as well, and give you more and more referrals and just perpetuate your business, guys. So it's really important that you guys get out there for field training and you see what we're doing. Guys, I'm super excited for what we're doing right now as a team. Our team's doing big things, guys. Send out your last couple of text messages, get your people on. We're at 40, is still a little bit lower, or 39, excuse me, still a little bit lower than where we normally sit. But guys, get your people out here. We have an amazing guest, guys. I'm super excited for this guy to come on and talk to us. I'll never forget my first Friday Night Live when we jumped on and the first person came on and just started screaming at us and scared the crap out of me. But yeah, go ahead, Cassie. That's fine. But when we jumped in and we got talking to, when we started learning about the business, I'll never forget John Cooper jumped on. And I don't remember what he talked about, but I just remember that he was so dang excited and fired up and just cared so much about his team and his people. And I was like, if I can get myself around somebody like that, and I can continue to grow my business and be plugged into people that are just excited, turned on, fired up, and just ready to do something big in their life, that it was going to change my life forever. And sure enough, like, Coop, I'm so grateful for you and Brittany. I can't find you. There you are. I'm so grateful for you and Brittany. And just like I'm going to say the subtle impact that you've had in our lives, because you don't override us. So we don't do a whole lot of like coaching and training together, but there's been a couple of times that I've needed help that I've called John, and he's been able to give me 10 or 15 minutes of just quick help and encouragement. And it's been so helpful for our business. And I'm just so grateful for you, dude. And we're thankful for what you're doing in our lives. We're thankful for what you're doing in Primerica and in the company. And guys, so John is a $500,000 earner right now. So guys, give it up for John Cooper, and I'm going to let him tell his story. So go ahead, bro.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dan and Taylor, for that incredible introduction. And good morning, guys. Excited to be with you guys this morning. And first of all, I just got to congratulate you all for being out on a Saturday morning. I mean, you guys could be anywhere on a Saturday morning, but here you are. You, by the way, is Dan paying anybody to be on this call this morning? By a show? No, right? Not one person is being paid to be on this call, but you're here today to learn and grow because you want change, right? You wouldn't be here if you didn't want change, if you didn't want to do something impactful with your life. And so you got to understand, one of the most important things in our business is just showing up. And, Art Williams, our incredible founder who founded A.L. Williams, which then turned to Primerica, he said 99% of winning is just showing up. How you beat like 99% of people is just showing up. And showing up consistently, guys. And so I want to applaud you guys for being out on a Saturday morning. And it's an honor to speak for this organization. Like Dan had said, we've had the opportunity to build a great relationship over the years that Dan and Taylor have been in the business. And, they were in Michigan with us and moved down to Florida. And so things kind of changed there in our dynamics of our relationship. But thank God for Zoom, right? And thank God for a phone call, because Dan and I, like he said, have had plenty of conversations and coaching moments. And I have just incredible respect for your leaders and your coaches. I mean, guys, like you have to understand how good you have it with your coaches. I've been in this business for 10 years, y'all. It will be 11 years next March. And listen, there are very few people that I could look at and say that I've actually had a relationship with, that I look at and say, I respect the heck out of these people because of their work ethic, their tenacity, their understanding of the business. You guys literally need to make heroes out of your coaches, Dan and Taylor, because that's exactly what they are. They have chosen to take the path least traveled, okay, and go on an entrepreneurial journey alongside you guys, and they're blazing a trail. And so you got to give it up for your coaches, give them a round of applause, okay, give them a shout out in the chat, because they are just absolute rock stars. And I've got a great message for you guys this morning. I'm going to give you guys some coaching. I want to share my story a little bit. My wife and I, Brittany's taking care of the 4 kids right now. We got 4 kids under 10 years old. So it is absolutely madness at our house, Cassandra. I don't know if you guys have kids, but we've got 4 of them. And Saturday morning when they're not in school, it's like bomb, atomic bomb. Okay, so Britt's out there, but she sends her love. But we've been in the business 10 years. And never had any sort of financial background, guys, never had any business background, never had any sort of entrepreneurial background. If you could identify with that, type in the chat, that's me. I was not a business guy like at all, okay? Had no like visions of grandeur of like becoming a businessman. But how many of you guys know, how many of you guys by a show of hands have kids? If you have kids, raise your hand. Okay, so there's a lot of, right? When we started having kids, I realized that kids cost money, right? Okay, so I think a lot of people come into the business to join the business for different reasons. Guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. My whole goal of joining the business, I'm not even exaggerating. My goal of joining the business so I could pay for diapers. Like for real. I literally came here. I was like, hey, if I could make an extra like $500, $600, $700, I'm like, dude, I'm in, man. Like I had no plan of ever going to build the business that we have here today. Which, I think, again, you got to identify why it is that you're here. For me, that's what it was. Go ahead and mute yourself, Tyler. Go ahead, bro. I just muted you. Boom. There we go. So we came into the business. I was like, hey, if I can make an extra $500-$600, I'm good. And I'll never forget, you guys, when I started meeting with people and seeing what we did and realized how powerful it was, I fell in love with it. And I'll never forget, I always share this story. My very first month working spare time in the business, I made $3,000. My second month in the business, we made $4,000. And I was sold, Heather. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'll never forget my very appointment. To this day, I remember my very first appointment, actually, that I went on my own and I replaced a cash value whole life universal life insurance policy with a woman named Carol Kirshner. This was over 10 years ago. I still remember her name. I could still see myself walking into her little condo, and she had this universal life policy. And long story short, we replaced it. And I remember I walked out, Brian, at that appointment. I called my buddy Ian, who was training me, and I told him all about it. And he goes, Coop, do you know how much money you just made? I'm like, no idea. I just know it felt good. He goes, you just made $750. And I remember I was like, dude, there's no freaking way. I was literally in the house for like an hour and a half and wrote this policy, saved this lady a whole bunch of money, and made $750 in like an hour and a half. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm sold. I was sold before, but I'm like, I'm really sold now. And long story short, guys, we ended up leaving our job. I quit my job. I was a youth pastor before we did this. Again, no background. Guys, you might feel intimidated because you don't know this industry. And maybe this wasn't your background of study. Y'all, I was a New Testament theology major at Bible college. Okay. So I studied the Bible. I had no practical skills. I still to this day, I don't know how to freaking change a tire. I don't know how to hang a picture. I don't know how to change oil. Okay. I don't know how to do anything other than make money. Okay. And that's a pretty good thing, because guess what? You can pay everybody else to do all those things, right? So I tell you, I knew nothing about money. In fact, the only thing, Jazz, I knew about money was that I didn't have it. Okay. So like coming into this business, I knew very, very well, like I was acutely aware that I did not have money. And so when I made a $750 in an hour, I was sold and we were all in, Brian. Like literally, I quit my job, went full time in the business, and literally within my first year, made $117,000. Went full time, became a regional vice president within 5.5 months, and made 117 grand my first year. And fast forward today, I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version so I could get into some content this morning. But we're senior national sales directors in the business, highest level that you could be in the company. We have about 10 regional vice presidents. Last year was actually our biggest year. Our 1099 from Primerica was 602,000. And just it's when I say that, Dan Roma, it still blows my mind. It blows like 602,000 paid to us last year. And we've been paid almost $3.6 million, Hugo, in the last 10 years. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to boast. I'm not saying that to like, but I am, because listen, in Primerica, you and I, we have the same exact opportunity. If I was telling you all that and you had no way of doing that, then I would be like, would this guy shut the heck up? No, but you and I have the same exact opportunity. There is Primerica is no respecter of persons. There's no politics here. Okay. There's no games here. If you have work ethic, you have drive, you follow the system and you're consistent, you could have the same type of income and more in today's Primerica, because in fact, 7 of my 10 years, guys, of doing this business. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to close my window here. Well, no, I'm okay. The sun is like shining like right on me, but it's okay. 7 of the 10 years of our business, you guys, we were all in person. So I was every single client that we helped, we had to drive all over God's green earth, okay, to get to that appointment where now, you're on Zoom and you can do business, in all 50 states, all over the country, in your pajamas type of thing, okay, and be able to do it from the comfort of your home and have an unlimited stream of income that is passive, that is reoccurring, it's ongoing. And guys, like that is the truth. The truth of our business is that you can do it faster than we did. You can do it more consistently than we did. And you could do it in such I guess a shorter time frame than it took us. What took us 10 years to do does not have to take 10 years. You could do that in 2 to 3 years in today's Primerica. And listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I want you to write this down. Success does not happen overnight. Okay. It does not happen overnight, but here's the big but it does not have to take a lifetime either. Okay. Success does not happen overnight, but it doesn't have to take a lifetime either. And so many of you guys are brand spanking new, right? Let me ask you guys a question. If you're new within the last, let's say 30 to 90 days, type in the chat, that's me. Type that in the chat. If you're here the last 30 to 90 days, I want to see how many new, okay, I see you, Hayla, I see you, Julia, okay, Robin, Amber, okay, Daniel, Tori 3 days ago. All right. I love that. Welcome to the business. Jill. Okay. Wow. We got Christine, a lot of new people. Okay. So listen, guys, there's a ton of you who are brand new here. And I'm going to sell you on the dream for a minute, guys, because look, Tori's killing it. 20 appointments set up. Come on, Tori. Great job, girl. Okay. Listen, guys, in Primerica, you could genuinely live a dream life. See, so many people get sold a dream of having a great job, but the reality is it's not the American dream anymore. It's the American nightmare. You say, Coop, what are you talking about? Okay. The American dream, unfortunately, in modern America today, with the traditional, I'm going to get a good degree, I'm going to go get a good job, I'm going to get good benefits, I'm going to have a great retirement and all that stuff. Unfortunately, that does not exist anymore. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But I'm going to tell you one of the biggest reasons. The biggest reason is because the cost of living is so high. Inflation. I saw this commercial. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe. I saw this commercial. I was watching the Detroit Lions game. I'm a Detroit fan. I'm in Detroit here. And I saw this commercial by a political individual, okay? And they said that inflation, Dan Romay, is 3%. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? This is a bold-faced lie. Inflation right now is between 9 and 12%. They won't tell you that, but that is the truth. So what does that mean practically to the average worker consumer? That means that there's more month at the end of the money. They have rising bills for energy, for, gas, electric, all that stuff, cars, okay, automobile gasoline, right? Okay, I'm talking about the gas to heat your house and all that stuff, right? Okay, but guess what? All those costs, food, groceries, okay, is all going up. But guess what is not going up? Somebody take a guess. All their costs are going up, but guess what is not? That's right. Their incomes, their pay is not going up. And so people think, well, I'm going to go get a good degree, or I'm going to go get a job that's going to pay me well. And here's what after taxes, they realize, holy cow, like I still have more month at the end of the money. And so a side hustle or a side income is like, used to be a luxury, right? Oh, I'm going to go do DoorDash. I'm going to go do this, whatever. Okay. And that used to be a luxury, but now it's a necessity. And you have an opportunity here, not only, and listen, if you're here, by the way, and you're here, you want to make $2-3 grand a month extra, and that's what you're here to do. Okay. That's freaking awesome. Like I always tell people, you got to define what your definition of success is. If you say, if let's say, Kim, let's say, Kim, your goal is, I'm just here because I want to make $2 grand a month extra. I want to get out of the rat race. I want to get out of the American nightmare and just make some extra income. And you want to do that. And that's what you accomplish. Kim, I'm going to call you a massive success. Okay. Because you're going to get around a lot of big thinkers and a lot of big dreamers and a lot of big doers. Okay. But don't be intimidated if your goal is not to go make $1 million a year here, but your goal, you got to be comfortable in your own skin. You got to be okay identifying, okay, like what your goals are. And then if you hit them, I'm calling you a massive success. So I would equally tell Dan Romay, the person that makes $2 grand a month and they do that, I would put them on the same level of success as the person their goal is to make $500,000 or $750,000 or $1 million, and they do that. Why? Because they have adequately defined what success is. Because if you don't define what success means for you, you're going to try to find your identity in somebody else's. You might get frustrated, okay, and not rise to the you're going to try to live up to everybody else's expectation of you. The only thing that you need to do is you need to rise to your level of expectation. Now, what I will say is we've got to raise, Hugo, our definition of what our expectation is of ourselves. We got to raise our standards. So many of us, because we have lived the American nightmare where there's really no hope, right? Oh, I'll go get a better job. Well, maybe you go get a better job that has better pay. But you know what I know about human nature? Kim Willett, you know what I know about that, Heather Royer? Human nature is you start making more money, guess what you're going to start doing? Somebody take a guess. You start making more. That's right. Dan knows it, right? You start spending more. So, I'm going to go get another job or a better paying job. Well, you might go make that better pay, but you're going to start right living better temporarily. But all it does is it continually gets you in this cycle. And so if we don't do something that accelerates us out of that, then it's a never-ending cycle that just does not stop. They say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. Man, why can I never get ahead? Why can I never, how come my bills are just mounting? How come my debt seems to be increasing? I'm making more money, but my lifestyle, I'm stressed constantly. I can't sleep because there's no such thing as a good job, okay? You might make more money, but you're spending more. So that means your quality of life has not actually improved. It's not all about the money that you make, it's about the money that you keep. And so primarily is the answer to the problem, this epidemic that just continues on generation after generation and generation, right? Because see, most of us, if you're like me, I come from a background of blue collar workers. I come from a JOB background, just over broke, where they keep you at your job long enough and they pay you just enough to where you have to keep coming back. There's no answer of financial freedom at a job, right? Because they own you. By the way, your time at a job I'm sorry, when you're like, let's say you have a job, right? Okay, Brian, and you have a PTO, okay, paid time off. You take your 2-week vacation. You're living on borrowed time. Your time is not actually even yours, because guess what? Let's say you take that 2-week vacation and you're like, okay, you know what? This vacation is so dang good. I'm having such a fun time. And you decide, I'm not going to go back to work for 3 days. That's probably not going to go over well with your bosses, your supervisors, right? They're like, well, wait a second. You just had 2 weeks of PTO. All right, well, we're not going to pay you at all anymore. We're going to find somebody else. You're living on borrowed time, right? How about the person that, maybe they're at their kids' baseball or softball game or gymnastics or whatever, and you get a phone call from your boss and says, hey, we need to have you come in, right? And you're like, well, wait a second, I can't right now. I'm in a baseball. They're like, too bad. You got to come in or you lose your job. We've all had seasons like that, maybe at a job, because look at, you don't own your time. Your boss owns your time. Your job owns that time. And see, in Primerica, guys, you are in complete and total control of your time. And so we got to be on a crusade to get our time right. In Primerica, the American dream does exist. Okay. And I don't even want to call it the American dream. I want to call it the Primerican dream, because the Primerican dream is so much better than the American dream, because you own your time. You own your resources. You own your energy. You have the ability to call life as you want it, right? Like, look at, like, even if I, let's say, have a day like today, it's a beautiful day here in Michigan. And I actually had like 4 appointments today, Dan. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not going to work today. I'm going to go take the kids out. I'm like, it's a blue sky. Like, there's not many days like this left in Michigan. I'm like, I'm rescheduling all those appointments. And I did. I rescheduled them. I'm going to go do whatever with my kids today. Why? Because it's the Primerican dream. I could reschedule them, and I already did. I rescheduled them for Monday when the kids are on school. I'm like, I'm not scheduling appointments today. Right now, if you've got appointments today, don't reschedule your appointments today, okay? Right? Go do those appointments, right? But you come to a point in the business where you have the ability to call the shots. You live life on your own terms. And isn't that what you want? People want ownership over their lives. Would you guys agree with that? They don't like being owned. We were not meant to be slaves, right? We were meant to be free. We are free to live our life on how we see fit. And see, and this is where I'm going to get into my talk this morning, because I want to talk about hunger and discipline, okay? At the end of the day, and at the beginning and the end of everything you do here, because a lot of you guys are new, we have to identify What is the number one motivating factor that is driving all of the decisions that we make when it comes to the business? Okay. Because there are going to be some disciplines that you have to develop and adhere to on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that is going to get you from point A to point B. Okay. There's daily disciplines. And it's really, I don't even want to say monthly, but it's really daily discipline. There's a quote. I want you to write this down. The secret to your success is hidden in your daily routine. I want you to write that down. The secret to your success is hidden in your daily routine. What you do, the actions that you take every single day are really going to determine the outcomes that you have in the business. Okay. The income, the outcomes will, I'm like tripping over my words. Your income, okay, depends upon what you do every single day. And the lifestyle that you develop is determined by what you do on a daily basis. But this is important because I got to lay a foundation. If you don't know why, it is going to be hard for you to know how. Okay, let me say that again. If you don't know why, it's going to be difficult for you to figure out how. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, if I don't know why I'm here and what I'm actually here to achieve and get and accomplish, my mind is going to tell me it's too difficult. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Okay. The most powerful force in the universe, I believe, outside of compound interest, okay, is a decided heart and mind. Okay. The most powerful force in the universe is a decided heart and mind. When your mind and heart is solidified and concrete on what it wants, the how-to is going to appear. Okay. And I want you to write this down. When your why is clear, your how-to will appear. When your why is clear, your how-to will appear. Because see, here's what happens. When your heart is steadfast, and by the way, Art Williams said that our business is not won in the minds of men. It's your business and conquering this business is really done inside the heart. It's a heart posture. It's a decision of the heart that you have to make. And it's something emotional. Okay. It's something emotional. And see, one of the most important things that you could do at the onset of your business is get emotionally connected to what it is that you want. Getting emotionally connected to what it is that you want. Well, I want to, because I hear people say these things a lot. Well, I want to make more money. Okay. How many people would like to make more money? By a show of hands. Let me see on your camera. How many people would like to make more money? So that's like pretty much everybody. Everybody would like to make more money. So theoretically, if I was with you all in person and I took out $1 and I gave it to you, you just accomplished your goal. You'd be like, well, wait a second. I don't want $1. Well, what do you mean? Yes, you do. You just told me you want more money. I just gave you money that you didn't have. Well, you're like, oh, that's not enough. Well, that's not going to help me reach my goals. Well, wait a second. I would argue you told me you want more money. And so why am I sharing that little illustration with you? Because wanting more money is not enough. We've got to be specific about our goals when it comes to income. Right? Like my goal is to make, let's say, $100,000 a year. My goal is to make $200,000 a year. And see what happens is, or let's say my goal is to make $2,000 a month. When you have a concrete goal, here's what happens. Because when you say I want to make more money, Hugo, your mind doesn't understand more money. It's too vague. It doesn't allow your subconscious mind and your brain, it does not understand more money. Because again, I can give you $1. Heck, I can give you a nickel, and that is more money. That's accomplished what you just wanted. But you're like, that's not really what I wanted. We've got to define what it is that we actually want, because here's what happens. Once you define what that is, then your mind starts architecting the plan on how we're actually going to get that done. We've got to be insanely specific with our goals, because then remember, when your why is clear, the how to will appear. And see, when you are possessed with a goal and a vision, the plan starts getting architected by your subconscious. You start seeing every individual and everything in your life as an opportunity for growth. You see, and you see, you see somebody post, "Oh, I need some extra work," right? Does anybody know about it? And instead of just ignoring it, or you don't even see it, your subconscious mind sees it, and you hop on those opportunities. You see, when you've got such a clear vision of what you want, maybe you're at a restaurant and that server does a great job, and normally you would just kind of like get the bill and be about your merry way. Well, now you're like, oh man, I need to get this person's name and number. I need to prospect them. I need to talk to them about the business, because they could be absolutely awesome in the business. But see, if you're not awakening your subconscious mind to it based upon the vision and plan you have, you might miss the opportunity. So number one is we've got to know why it is that we're here, what it is that you want to accomplish. And again, it's important to do that, because then you can rise to the level of expectation for yourself, as well as have accountability with your coaches. See, one of the things I did, Dan, early on, where I chased off a lot of good people, was I put expectations on them that they weren't ready for yet. Right? I chased people off because I was super passionate. I was super fired up, super energetic, but I was chasing people off because I was putting expectations that they weren't ready for. And so how I learned, guys, how to do that was to sit down with my team as an individual and find out what is moving them. Dominic, what is moving them? Brittany, what is the thing that matters to them? And what are their goals, Heather? And when you define those goals alongside your coach and your upline, whoever's training you, it creates a level and a bond of accountability where you guys could run towards those things together, right? And see, what happens is when you when you create a structure of accountability, it gives you and your coach the ability to help you guys achieve those goals in now a certain time frame, as opposed to, again, I just want to make more money. Well, let's say your goal, Brian, is I want to make $5,000 this month, right? Dan will actually sit down with you and help architect the plan of, okay, how many recruits do we need to get that done? How much life premium? How much securities do we need? And what time frame? And what will be some reward punishments that we do, right, within that if we don't get that done, right? And it creates a structure. See, guys, our business is not just something, okay? If we treat it like just something, okay, a lot of things might happen, and they might not be all good things. But if we treat our business like a structured business that it is, then we will have business type results. So number one is we got to know our why. Number two is we need to develop a plan of action, okay? And I want you to write this down. Maybe you heard this before, but we call these IPAs, income producing activities, okay? Not the beer, all right? Not the beer. I like me some IPAs, Tyler, okay? Okay, but I prefer income producing activities, all right? So we got to develop a plan of action. And I'm just going to tell you what I did, okay? I always talk from experience, okay? I don't want to just give you theory. I want to give you practical things that I did in order to accomplish my goals. I was told at one point, my very first year in the business, if you set, this was just me, okay? Now you could do a lot more than this, you could do less than this. But if you want to make at least $100,000 a year within your first year, you need to set 3 to 5. By the way, how many people, by a show of hands, would like to make $100,000 this year in the business? Okay, in the next 12 months. Okay, I see a lot of hands. Okay, I was told, and I know it to be true because we did it. If you set personally 3 to 5 appointments every single day, then you will make at least $100,000 a year in this business. Okay, 3 to 5 appointments composed of recruits and kitchen table appointments, recruiting appointments and kitchen table appointments. Okay, every single day. Okay, so think about it. All right, watch this for a second. Let's do the math on that. Okay, so let's just say for fun, we set 4 times 365 days in the year. That's 1,460 appointments. Okay, divided by 52. Okay, so that's like 28 appointments in a week. Okay, just follow me for a second. That's 28 appointments in a week. And we're just going to say for fun, okay, because I want to be practical with you guys for a second. In fact, I wonder if I could share my screen. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, I can do that. Let me get my whiteboard out here. Okay, so watch this for a second, guys. So let's say we run 28 personal appointments for the week. Personal appointments, and I'm using my mouse here, so forgive me for my writing, okay, for the week. Now watch this for a second, all right? Now we're going to go, I want to do this from a senior regional leader position, okay? So we're not talking about even being a regional vice president, but let's say you're at 80%, you're a senior regional leader, so SRL. So you've got 28 appointments per week, okay? Now remember what I said, your appointments should be equally recruits and KTs, okay? So we're going to run 14 recruiting appointments a week, okay? Plus 14 kitchen table appointments, okay? Now I'm going to show you a worst case scenario, okay? Now I'm not even going to talk about the recruiting appointments for a second, but let's just talk about the KTs because it's on the KTs that we make our money. So we're going to say that instead of running, now we set 14 of them. Okay, we set 14 of them, but we're not going to run all 14 because some people are going to reschedule. They're going to reschedule. They're going to cancel. Okay, so let's just say for fun, okay, we run. I don't even want to say. I don't even want to like you're going to develop like your numbers, by the way. But let's just say for fun, okay, we only run half of them. So we set 14, but we run 7. So we run 7 kitchen table appointments, okay? We run 7, and let's just say we close 4 of them. We close 4. So 4 closed. So the average life insurance client in today's Primerica is about $1,200 annual premium. So about $100 a month. So $1,200 annual premium times, what's that? 1,200 times 4. I'm terrible at math. Okay. So look at that's 4,800. That's 4,800 annual premium that you're writing at 80%. Now, hopefully you guys are writing this down along with me. You can take a picture of it too. Okay. So 4,800 times point, now let's do the math, 4,800 times 0.80. Okay, that's 3,840, okay, times 0.75, okay? So that's paying you as a senior regional leader, $2,880 in monthly income. By the way, that's just you This is Brad. This doesn't include any overrides. This doesn't include anybody on your team. Remember, I'm not even talking about recruiting. I'm just talking about you personally setting 3 to 5 appointments every single day. So $28.80 a month. I'm sorry, a week. That week. Whoops, that was a week. All right. Times that by 4 weeks. That's 11,000. I know my writing is so bad. 520 a month. Okay. Now we're going to back out about 2,500 for what we call Charlie Browns. Okay. Chargebacks. We don't need to talk too much about it, but I want to add that buffer in there. Okay. So that would pay you, even after a charge, I'm out of space here. That would pay you a total of $9,020 a month in monthly income as a senior regional leader times 12. That's $108,000 a year, you guys. That's setting 28 appointments a week. When I heard this, that got me excited. Okay, because by the way, this is not theory, it's math. Okay, if I'm getting on that many, and by the way, that's only if you run 7 of those appointments. Well, what if you run 10 of those KTs? What if you run 12? What if all 14 keep? And listen, the way to secure those appointments like that is to get good at the skill set of setting appointments and making sure those appointments keep. How many of you guys would be okay making $9,020 a month under regional vice president? Okay, that's not even as a regional vice president, because most of you guys here are not regional vice presidents, right? Okay, I'm not even going to get into that, right? Okay, but making $9,000 a month and that's not including your getting securities license. That's not including overriding anybody. That's just you setting 3 to 5 appointments every single day. How many of you guys would say that they would like to commit to setting 3 to 5 appointments every single day? If you're okay, if you would commit to that. Now, if you don't want to commit to it, don't raise your hand. But if you're committed to that, listen, I just gave you the roadmap to get that done, to make $100,000 within your first year. That's how I did it. That's how Dan did it. I think Dan made even more than me my first year, right, Dan? What'd you make your first 12 months in the business? Like 120 something?
132,000.
Yeah, boom, look at that, okay? 132,000 in income. Okay, guys, by what? By increasing activity. So income producing activities. Listen, let me tell you what work here is in our business, Brittany Hall. Work in our business is 2 things: setting appointments and going on them. That's it. Setting appointments. Now, there's a lot of background stuff, okay, that you can call work. But the real work of our business is simply setting appointments and then going on them. Okay, that's it. Okay, so number 1, we said we got to have our why. We got to identify why it is that we're here and what it is that we want. Number 2 is we've got to take action. And number 3, the most important thing, and I think honestly this trumps all of it. Number 3 is we have to stay consistent with that activity. Okay. We have to stay consistent with the activity. Okay. Because what did I say? I said we set 3. This was what I did. Set 3 to 5 appointments every single day. And we have to stay, number 3, consistent with that activity. Okay. Because see, listen, a lot of you guys who are brand new, you're super excited, you're motivated, you're pumped up. Okay. You're in what we call the honeymoon phase of Primerica. Okay. And the honeymoon is great, but how many of you guys know that the honeymoon, if you get married, is not real life? The real work of marriage starts after the honeymoon. Why? Because you're living with that person. right? You're waking up with that person. You're going to bed with that person. You have to deal with the smells of that person, right, guys? Okay, us guys, right? Okay, right? Okay, you have to deal with all the bad habits of that person, all the little like things that drive you crazy about that person. Okay, now you're living with, okay, and see, in Primerica, you're living with yourself in the reality once the honeymoon phase of the business is over. And that honeymoon phase, okay, has a different period for each person. It might be a weekend, it might be 2 months in, it might be 6 months in, whatever. But once the honeymoon phase is over, that's where the real self-development starts to take your business to the next level. Okay, this is when you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, if I'm going to get better, then I need to change. I need to become who God had called me to be here. I need to develop into the leader that I'm supposed to be here. Because let me tell you so remember what I said, work in Primerica, the income producing activities are what? Setting appointments and going on them, right? What ultimately helps determine how much work you do is the type of work that you do behind the scenes of working on yourself. The greatest work that you will do in this business is the work that you do on yourself. The taking of the chisel and allowing the masterpiece that you are to develop, to shave away all the rough edges of maybe your personality, of, some of your bad habits, maybe some of the, limited thinking that you have. For me, one of my biggest hindrances in the business was not thinking I was worthy enough to have success, right? I didn't come from money. I didn't come from an entrepreneurial background. I didn't come from any sort of what the world would look at as success. Okay. So I had to work on my mindset around my worthiness of actually being capable of building a great business here. Okay. Talent is not enough to succeed in this business. We've got to change our mindsets, because look, if we can change our minds, then we can change our lives. Let me say that again. If you could change your minds, you could change your life, right? And listen, it's a commitment, a daily. Remember what I said, the secret to your success is hidden where? In your daily routine. And so it's important to stay consistent. And see, listen, consistency and commitment is what helps you when the motivation leaves you. Okay, I want you to write that down. Commitment and consistency is what helps you, okay? What helps you keep going when the motivation leaves you. See, because a lot of us were motivated, right? We're motivated to, like, right now you're excited, you're motivated, but guess what? Motivation is just an emotion. Okay, motivation is an emotion are fleeting. It's here 1 minute, gone the next, right? Like you're excited 1 minute, and then the very next you're like depressed, right? Okay, like 1 minute you're on the mountain, the top, the next minute you're like in the valley emotionally. Okay, and see, what commitment allows you to do is it allows you to not, I don't want to say ignore those emotions, because God puts emotions in us, but it does give us the ability to bypass them. That's what commitment and consistency does. When you are committed to that, to a certain level of activity and consistency around that, it almost gives you a cheat code. It gives you a cheat code to bypass it and to continue on. And it's playing tricks in your mind, right? See, as a human population, especially in America today, you guys, like, mediocrity is celebrated, right? Like, oh, I think about like my kids' like football team, like they were giving all these participation awards away. I'm like, forget that. Like, I told my son, don't take that award, right? Like, no, like there's winners and losers, right? We're in business, there's winners and losers. In sports, there's winners and losers, right? Like participation awards, it allows mediocrity to be widely accepted in our lives as okay, right? And it's not okay, right? We got to set higher standards for ourselves, right? And so, guys, like the bottom line is when you architect those three things in your life and you stick to them, listen, listen, like I said, it might not happen overnight, but it doesn't have to take a lifetime either. And in today's Primerica, you have the ability to accelerate what might have taken. Look at Dan made $130,000 his first year here. You know what the question that I have is, which one of you guys are going to beat that record? Which one of you guys are going to look at that and say, hey, I want to make $200,000 my first year. I want to make $300,000 my first year. And who says you can't do it? The only person that says that is your mind that's lying to you, right, about what's possible. We need to remove the caps on our mind. We got to allow the limited thinking to exit and allow the new thoughts of success and wealth and winning to dominate. And I want you to write this down, okay, in closing, okay? I want you to write this down. It's a little long. But this saying has truly impacted my life, literally so profoundly. But I want you to write this down. It's a little long, but I want you to write it down. You in your life will move in the direction. You in your life will always move in the direction of the dominant image that you allow to reside in your mind. Let me say it again. You in your life will always move in the direction of the dominant image that you allow to reside in your mind. And see, the question I have for us this morning is, what is the dominant image that we have? What are we thinking about? Are we thinking about how we're always lacking? How we'll never have enough, where your next client is coming from, where your next recruit is coming from, how am I going to pay my bills? Or are you thinking about, the success that you're going to have here, the dream that is going to unfold here, the amount of, the picture of, $50,000 being deposited in your checking account, right? As a bonus, right? What is the dominant image that is resounding in your mind? Because your life is always going to move progressively towards whatever that is, whether good or bad. And see, guys, we've got to take an inventory of our thought life every single day. Think about what we're thinking about. And most of us, if we're being honest, at least I could be honest with myself and know that a lot of time early on, my thoughts, if I took inventory of them, they weren't good. They were full of negativity. Because you want to know why? For 29 years of my life, because I started here when I was 29, that's all I knew was negativity. That's all I knew was lack. That all I knew was poverty. All I knew, right? We live out our lives based upon our experiences and the decisions that we've made up until this point. And see, you're in a business, guys, of unlimited income, passive income, unlimited freedom, total control that you have. You're not giving your control to anybody else but you in this business. And guys, your dream life is one decision away. Think about that. Dan Roma, your coach, made $130,000 his first year. Guys, when I was a youth pastor, I was making $2,000 a month at my job. $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year as a 29-year-old with a baby on the way. Oh, dear Lord, think about how long it would have taken me to make what Dan made in 1 year at my job, right? Guys, that is the business that you are in, and you have complete and total access to it. Dan, I hope that was good, man, for you guys this morning. I hope I was able to deliver a little bit for the team, man. But I'm so honored and blessed to call you a friend, man. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Oh, you're muted.
I couldn't find the mute button, bro. Thank you, dude. That was so good, man. Just grateful for your time this morning. Tell Brittany we said thank you for letting us steal you for a little bit and wrangling the kids. We know that is not a necessarily easy task when you have 7,000 of them. So,
For sure, man.
great job, man. Guys, I hope you got some value out of that. If you guys got value, blow it up in the chat. Tell them thank you. And guys, he'll be at Midwest Builder School in October, right, John?
That's right. Yeah, we're going to light that stage up, Dan. So guys, get ready. Get your tickets for that, because I cannot wait to meet all y'all in person. We'll get some pictures together. Cannot wait. Dan, love you guys. Go have a great day. Let's go kick some butt. You guys are champions. See you guys later.
See you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, don't leave yet. Hang on. Everybody else stay on. Coop can leave. But all right, guys. So I'm gonna put in Telegram right now the link for Midwest Builder School, guys. If you don't have your tickets already, I'm gonna walk you guys through how to get there. Okay, so go grab that link if you haven't bought them yet. So these are the speakers, all that good stuff. But we're gonna hit register. Okay, so to register, you're going to click the register button. It's crazy. And then go to general admission. Okay, you're not an RVP, so don't click that button. They won't let you do that. But you're going to go general admission. It's $30. Okay, you're going to fill all this information out. And then there's actually a code that I just found this morning. Welcome ! I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. I saw it this morning in my email. I think. I don't know. I saw it somewhere this morning. Yeah, there we go. Code error. I just found it. So yeah, it's welcome ! And it's all caps. So let me see what this does. I haven't looked at it yet. Oh, I got to fill this all out. Are you serious? Hang on. Let's see. Shortcut all this stuff. Don't register for me, guys. Just making it up. Let's see what the code does, if anything. All right, so it brings it down to $25. So your price is going to go up to $35 for the ticket. $35. I'll send you $5. The price is going to go up to $35 on the 15th of September for your ticket. Okay, guys, you got to get here. It's going to be awesome. I promise you guys, you're going to get more in that day and a half. Okay, you're going to get more in a day and a half in real life than you're going to get over all the Zoom calls over the next 90 days. I promise you, because you're going to be immersed in that environment, guys. An environment, the biggest thing for change is an environment. Okay, the biggest thing that's going to help you change and grow is going to be the environment. What's that? What's that? What about him? No, not yet. I haven't seen David Harris yet since the last month and a half. He's been on vacation for 9 years. So as soon as I see David, those of you that have your Tampa Bay Leadership School tickets will figure out the best place to sell them and to get rid of those if you already had some tickets for TBLS. But guys, if you can't get rid of them at the Midwest Builder School, I'll reimburse you for your Tampa tickets. Like I will personally give you the dollars that you paid for TBLS if you already bought those, and we can't figure out a way for them to sell it. Once you get to Midwest Builder School, I will give you the money for them. Okay. If we can't figure out how to sell them, but we'll get rid of them for you. All right. So guys, don't wait. It's going to be amazing. Buy your tickets, guys. Tomorrow night, we have our Sunday night skills. It's week number 2. Okay, week number 2. Everybody put a 2 in the Zoom chats. Week number 2 of our Sunday night skills. It's going to be powerful. We're in 101 and 201. So for those of you that are brand new, we're going to talk about the fast start, I believe is what number 101 week 2 is. And I believe 201 week number 2, we're talking about the kitchen table appointment, I believe is what it is. Either 2 or 3, I can't remember. So don't quote me on that. Either this week or next week, it'll be the KT though. But guys, either way, we're going to be on tomorrow night. It's on the same Zoom link at 8 o'clock tomorrow, guys. Y'all have an amazing weekend, and we'll see